heck is going on at graduate schools? There was a young woman named Naomi Epps recently published a Wall Street Journal opinion piece discussing the most vulgar and shocking college story. And also just a quick warning here that this is a bit of an explicit topic today. Okay, that was my warning.
All you gotta do is say earmuffs to them. Earmuffs.
Apparently, to become a marriage and family counselor, you have to tell your professor all about your life and watch BDSM footage. It is truly astonishing and appalling. So this is Naomi's article, and she said, Santa Clara University's crazy idea of human sexuality. To become a therapist, I'm expected to watch bondage videos and submit a sexual autobiography.
What the hell is wrong with you people?
I have no words, so I'm just going to read hers. But this was a human sexuality class that she's first talking about here. The first time I enrolled in the course, students were assigned to read sadomasochistic erotica and a book called The Guide to Getting It On, featuring sexually explicit illustrations. We were told to write an 8 to 10 page comprehensive sexual autobiography, which could include early sexual memories, masturbation, current experiences, and future goals with an action plan, all uploaded to a third-party platform for grading. The syllabus allowed that students are not required to disclose anything that causes extreme discomfort, but the disclaimer rang hollow attached to an assignment requiring us to discuss such personal matters. I cannot believe that that is in a college class. How describing your own personal sexual history in detail with a 10-page paper makes you a better therapist is beyond me. Because these examples, and more that we're going to get into, is not just discussing topics about human sexuality in a clinical way, which is what would be required to be a family marriage therapist. But this is not that at all. I've listened to interviews with her, and she's made a distinction multiple times that she expected, obviously, you have to talk about sex and sexuality, but you do not have to talk about your own in that much detail and then watch the things that she was required to watch. A lot of the content that she was being asked to either write or consume was more of a titillating subject matter, if that makes sense. So it's not just for the clinical discussion, it was actually basically pornography, which is wild. Here's her and Allie Beth Stuckey's show Relatable talking about it in a little bit more detail.
I'm just reporting what's going on in therapy classrooms. The events that took place in that class were so shocking. We were asked to write things down that we dislike about our genitals or breasts.
How would that help become a better marriage and family counselor? A better therapist? That's just so twisted. Like, imagine having to write that to your professor. Like, here's what I'm most insecure about in very vivid detail. And what professor would read that and everything about it is just bizarre.
Or to write it down, and then the professor gathered them up, shuffled them up, redistributed them, and then read them out loud in the class.
So not only for the professor's eyes only, the whole class, everyone gets to talk about it. You don't attach your name to it, but you're hearing another random student in your class talking about your most vulnerable thing. What? Truly, all of this is a big WTF. I don't understand.
There was also this guest psychologist came in and said, quote, only trans women have that can blow up the world.
Oh, gosh.
Sorry.
No, I mean, if they said it.
That was the P word, I believe. I don't want to know.
People are going to come at me and say that I'm a culture warrior. I was just trying to get my degree to become a therapist. And I think that the fact that this is a elite education at a Catholic school is relevant to the public.
I would say so. She went on to say that she chose that school because she thought that her Christian values would be accepted and safe there. But clearly not. So let me just pause this wild story to tell you about Balance of Nature, because with Balance of Nature fruits and veggies, there has never been a more convenient dietary supplement to ensure that you get a wide variety of fruits and veggies in every single day with 31 different whole fruit and vegetable ingredients. Balance of Nature takes fruits and vegetables, they freeze dry them, turn them into a powder, and then put them into a little capsule. Then all you have to do is take those capsules every day, and your body knows exactly what to do with them because there's no weird ingredients, there's no bad chemicals or preservatives. It's just fruit and vegetables, which is why I love taking them. So if you want to give Balance of Nature a try, you can go to balanceofnature.com and use promo code Conrad for 35% off your first order as a preferred customer, plus you'll get a free bottle of fiber and spice. That's balanceofnature.com, promo code Conrad today. Okay, back to the filth that is being taught in our education system. With that specific class, she then tried to get out of the assignment before ultimately having to get out of the class as a whole because it just kept happening. But then she tried again with a different professor because she had to take that class to graduate. So this was not just a fun elective, she had to take this class. And again, she experienced inappropriate behavior and content within that class as well. So again, she asked for accommodation. Even specifically, there were certain accommodations that were given to Muslim students. And so she asked for those at least, which were to just take the class via Zoom, but she was denied. And then she ultimately took it the whole way up the chain of command at the school before going public with the info to the Wall Street Journal as the only option to get people to actually listen to her. And then after her Wall Street Journal article was published back in early June, she was fired from her internship. An internship that, again, she needed to graduate. And here's her talking about that right after it happened.
Moments ago, I was fired from my therapy internship for blowing the whistle in the Wall Street Journal on ideological conformity in therapy training. This comes with the regret of my boss, but he was left no choice due to the climate we are now in. This will harm clients. I am not doing this for personal gain. I am doing this because if we don't have a set of therapists with diverse worldviews and with tolerance for people with diverse worldviews, we will alienate people who need psychological care, and we will cause more harm than good.
And what she brought to light here just kind of almost felt like it was scratching the surface of other things that people are just being trained and taught, and it's in literature that is just things that are not good, are not right. And it's only evidenced by seeing something like this, that this is just approved and totally accepted. And apparently, according to what she was saying, it had been going on for decades before she was the one that said, hey, I actually have to write this paper. Are you kidding me? So it was going on for a while. In other interviews that she's done, she's gotten into the details also that she was being trained about critical race theory, which is a whole other thing of fascinating content that she was required to read and say and do. And again, it's talking about the conformity of everyone must think and do the exact same, which is not good for therapy. And she also shined light on some things in the gender identity space and how she is just told to approve and support and never ask questions, affirm, affirm, affirm. And if every therapist is out there doing the exact same thing, especially for children, affirm, 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 that's not going to be good for society. Now, as her story has started to go viral, more people have been commenting things like this. Just letting you know, I've been a professor for 31 years. It's not just a crisis in therapy, it's all across higher education. U.S. universities no longer are truth seekers, but indoctrination centers for future activists. Maybe a tad exaggerated, but not by much. Here's one other clip I saw from Naomi that I just wanted to share too.
Immediately dug into the syllabus and discovered that the final exam was a comprehensive sexual autobiography. We were asked to discuss things like, when did we first start masturbating, just detail our sexual past and present, what are our erotic goals for the future, how will we achieve such things.
It's almost unbelievable. And it's also unbelievable that so many people just did that and didn't even ask questions. And that breaks my heart that there's just this conformity that's happening of like, oh, a teacher says I have to do this, I guess I have to do this. No, there's ethical problems with that as well. Massive ones. Under that video, someone said, you immediately dug into the syllabus and saw that the final exam would be and still took the class. And she responded, because I think this is an important point, it's a requirement to graduate. I dropped it after class number 2 and pursued accommodation to no avail. Now, under Allie Beth Stuckey's full podcast, which I will link below to make sure that you guys can hear it if you want to listen to this whole interview, but a couple girls made these comments and I just wanted to share them. I'm in a secular counseling program right now and truly struggling through many of the topics and the progressive brainwashing interwoven into the curriculum. Been rethinking my life direction and career so much, even though I've always wanted to be a counselor. Such a tough time to be in the counseling world where disorders and delusions are affirmed. I cannot even fathom that. That breaks my heart for young men and women who want to be a counselor, who desire that, who want to help people, but are constantly being fed information that they vehemently disagree with on like a fundamental level, as well as a clinical. I mean, there's so many elements and layers to this. It just feels so godless when there is no center, when there is no thing to kind of like keep you moored in something. It makes sense that the education just goes into no man's land. That's frankly devastating. Another person said, I attended Indiana Wesleyan University for my master's in marriage and family therapy degree. They truly handled these conversations in biblical, God-honoring ways. And while we took these same classes, human sexuality and multicultural counseling, the content was way different than what Naomi experienced here. Thank you for exposing the bad programs and horrifying practices in colleges. I am so grateful to people like Naomi who are willing to break the mold, to speak up, even though it's scary. And as for those comments, it's encouraging to hear that it can be done in an appropriate way, but it is also very disheartening to hear just how long this literature has been being taught and that this problem does not appear to be exclusive to Santa Clara. As evidenced by Naomi, it just takes one student, after decades of others staying silent, to expose and potentially change the whole system. That is what the power of using your voice looks like. While yes, it's scary and isolating at times, it also has the ability to change everything. Thank you so much for watching today's episode. If you want more content like this, make sure to subscribe to this channel and like this video if you enjoyed it. For other content, you can also follow me on Instagram and X, as well as our brand new comment section Instagram. I'll see you in the next episode.